Welcome to LinesToGo installation videos. Today we will be replacing brake lines on a 2017 Nissan Frontier using LinesToGo part number BLN-104-SS. While this particular installation is being performed on a 2017 Nissan Frontier, this set of lines will also fit the following year, make, and models as shown on your screen now. LinesToGo lines are made using original equipment end forms and fittings that are CNC bent for an easy and precise installation. We have also upgraded to stainless steel braided Teflon hoses for rust protection and to prevent surface fouling. These have an unlimited shelf life and anti-static PTFE liner. This set of LinesToGo lines are made using 304L stainless steel for rust resistance that exceeds OEM standards. Tech tip: disconnect the battery before working on a vehicle to reduce the risk of shorting out the battery on tools or lines. LinesToGo lines are made with a sectional design for easier installation. We also use color-coded unions on our sectioned lines. Just match the colors at the connections. Tools required: 10mm, 13mm, and 19mm sockets and ratchet, 10mm, 12mm, and 13mm wrenches, pliers and cutting pliers, flat blade and Phillips blade screwdrivers, drain pan, jack and jack stands. The level of difficulty for this installation is considered to be easy. Start by disconnecting the negative battery terminal using a 10mm wrench. At the ABS module, use a 12mm wrench to disconnect the primary and secondary line threaded fittings. Use a 12mm wrench to remove the two threaded fittings at the master cylinder. Remove the primary and secondary brake lines from the vehicle. Use a 10mm wrench to remove the four remaining fittings at the ABS module. Disconnect the electrical connector at the ABS module. This will make it easier to remove and install the lines. Remove the brake lines from the plastic clip located underneath the master cylinder. Raise and support the vehicle. Use a 19mm socket to remove all four wheels from the vehicle. Use a Phillips blade screwdriver to remove the screws that secure the left front inner fender. Use a 13mm socket to remove the nut at the front of the left front inner fender. Remove the left front inner fender from the vehicle. Remove the brake lines from the plastic clips at the top of the left front wheel well. Use a 10mm wrench to remove the top three threaded fittings at the factory unions inside of the left front wheel well. If the fittings are seized to the lines, you can cut the lines using a pair of cutting pliers or remove the fittings after. Remove the three lines going to the top of the factory unions from the vehicle. Next, use a 10mm wrench to remove the threaded fittings from the bottom of the factory unions and the left front flex hose. Remove the last section of the left front brake line from the vehicle. Use a 10mm wrench to remove the two remaining threaded fittings at the factory union. Push the right front inner fender up so you can access the factory union. You can remove the inner fender if you wish, but it is not required. Use a 10mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the bottom of the forward factory union and at the right front flex hose. Remove the line from the vehicle. Next, use a 10mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the top of the factory union. At the top of the vehicle, remove the right front brake line from the plastic clips along the firewall. Cut the line using a pair of cutting pliers and remove both sections from the vehicle. Note: be very careful when cutting the right front brake line if your vehicle has a standard transmission, as the line that runs beside it is for the clutch and will not be replaced with this set. Inside of the left front wheel well, looking towards the rear of the vehicle, use a 10mm socket or wrench to remove the bolt that secures the heat shield at the top of the frame rail. On the inside of the frame underneath the vehicle, remove the other bolt that secures the heat shield using a 10mm socket or wrench. Bend the heat shield up to get access to the lines and remove the two brake lines from the clip. Use a pair of cutting pliers to cut both rear brake lines in front of the fuel tank. Remove the lines from the plastic clips along the top of the frame rail. Remove the forward section of the rear brake lines from the vehicle. Inside of the left rear wheel well, use a 13mm socket to remove the bolt that secures the charcoal canister into position. The brake lines are routed behind the charcoal canister. Remove the rear lines from any remaining clips along the top of the frame rail. Use a 10mm socket or wrench to remove the bolt that secures one of the plastic clips in place so you can remove the brake lines from the clip. Use a 10mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting at the top of the left rear flex hose. Remove the lines from any remaining plastic clips. Cut the right rear brake line next to the left rear flex hose using a pair of cutting pliers. Remove the forward sections of the line from the vehicle. Above the rear cross member, remove the right rear brake line from the plastic clips. Remove the fitting at the right rear flex hose using a 10mm wrench. Remove the final section of the right rear brake line from the vehicle. To begin the installation of your new stainless steel LinesToGo brake lines, start by installing the first section of the left front brake line labeled 03A into position. Start the top threaded fitting into the forward-facing driver's side port in the ABS module by hand. Start the other fitting into the top port in the forwardmost factory union and tighten it using a 10mm wrench. Next, install the front section of the right rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 06A into position. Start the top threaded fitting into the forward-facing passenger side port in the ABS module by hand. Start the other fitting into the top of the rearmost factory union by hand and tighten using a 10mm wrench. You can now replace the electrical connector at the ABS module and secure it into place using the plastic lever. Next, install the front section of the left rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 05A into position. Start the top threaded fitting into the top passenger side central port in the ABS module. Start the bottom threaded fitting into the top of the central factory union and tighten the fitting using a 10mm wrench. Next, install the first section of the right front LinesToGo brake line labeled 04A into position. Start the threaded fitting into the top driver's side central port in the ABS module. Tighten the 4 fittings in the ABS module using a 12mm wrench. Install the next section of the right front brake line labeled 04B into position. Connect the 2 lines with the supplied union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connections. Start the bottom threaded fitting into the top of the factory union inside of the right front wheel well. Tighten the fitting using a 10mm wrench. Tighten the union using a 10mm and a 13mm wrench. Install the final section of the right front LinesToGo brake line labeled 04C into position. Start one fitting into the right front flex hose and the other fitting into the bottom of the factory union. Tighten both fittings using a 10mm wrench. Next, at the left front, install the final section of the left front LinesToGo brake line labeled 03B into position. Start one fitting into the left front flex hose and the other fitting into the bottom of the front factory union. Tighten both fittings using a 10mm wrench. Secure the lines inside of the left front wheel well into the plastic clips removed earlier. Next, install the secondary LinesToGo brake line labeled 02 into position. Start one fitting into the front port in the master cylinder and the other fitting into the top passenger side port in the ABS module. Next, install the primary LinesToGo brake line labeled 01 into position. Start one fitting into the rear port in the master cylinder and the other into the driver's side port in the ABS module. Tighten the 2 fittings in the ABS module using a 13mm wrench. Tighten the 2 fittings in the master cylinder using a 13mm wrench. Underneath the vehicle, install the next section of the left rear brake line labeled 05B into position. Start the front threaded fitting into the bottom of the central factory union. Next, install the final section of the left rear brake line labeled 05C into position, routing it beside the fuel tank above the frame rail. Start the rear threaded fitting into the top of the left rear flex hose by hand. Connect the 2 lines at the supplied union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Tighten the union using a 10mm and a 13mm wrench. Tighten the fitting at the flex hose using a 10mm wrench. Tighten the fitting in the factory union using a 10mm wrench. Install the next section of the right rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 06B into position. Secure the lines into the plastic clips. Start the front threaded fitting into the bottom of the rear factory union. Install the next section of the right rear brake line labeled 06C into position. Connect the 2 sections of line using the supplied union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connections. Next, install the final section of the right rear LinesToGo brake line labeled 06D into position above the rear cross member. Secure the line into the plastic clips and start the threaded fitting into the right rear flex hose by hand. Connect the lines using the supplied union noting the color-coded connection. Tighten the 2 unions using a 10mm and a 13mm wrench. Tighten the fittings in the right rear flex hose and the rear factory union using a 10mm wrench. Use a 10mm wrench to bleed all 4 wheels, making sure to keep the master cylinder reservoir topped up with fluid. Replace the charcoal canister back into position and secure it using a 13mm socket. Replace the plastic clip at the rear of the cab and secure it using a 10mm socket or wrench. Secure the heat shield at the front using a 10mm socket or wrench to tighten the 2 bolts. Replace the left front inner fender and secure it using a Phillips blade screwdriver to replace the screws. Use a 13mm socket to replace the nut at the front of the left front inner fender. Replace all 4 wheels and torque to your manufacturer's recommended specification using a 19mm socket. Reconnect the negative battery terminal using a 10mm wrench. This concludes the installation of stainless steel brake lines on a 2017 Nissan Frontier using LinesToGo part number BLN-104-SS. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or would like to purchase the lines you saw today, please call us at 1-855-781-5992, email us at info@linestogo.com, or check out our website link below. Don't forget to take advantage of our free next day shipping. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below, and we will see you in our next video.